He yelled first, loud, across the range, in front of everyone. "Step away from the line, ma'am. This isn't a knitting club." His finger pointed, his face red. His badge said HOA, but his tone said God. I've seen that look before, the kind that talks big when it thinks no one's recording. Madeline Ross didn't flinch, didn't look up. Both hands stayed on the Glock, indexed, controlled. Her name tag curled in the wind, page half lifted, like a warning ignored. One camera blinked red in the corner. She saw it and waited. She hadn't touched that headset in 3 years, still smelled faintly of oil and cedar. The logo had faded, but the tape was still wrapped tight, same way he left it. Madeline Ross didn't need to be here, didn't need the badge, didn't care about their little clipboard ranks and timed drills. She used to run certification for federal rescue units, trained rookies how to clear houses in fire zones, how to stay steady when your partner was bleeding out 10 feet away. But that wasn't on her file. She'd taken herself off every list the day Nathan's came back classified and folded in a flag. He'd chosen this place. Outside the city, quiet, old trees. Said the soil felt right. Said if something ever happened, she'd be safest here. She didn't argue. Back then, she still believed in clean starts. Now she stood under a vinyl banner that read, HOA Marksmanship Trial, Safety First. The irony didn't even bother her anymore. She just stared at the red dot on the camera. Inhale, exhale, half hold. Her Glock wasn't custom, wasn't new, but on the left side of the barrel, just below the slide, a scratch ran through the matte finish. It looked random unless you knew to read it. A name carved with a roofing nail, Nathan Ross. Madeline shifted her grip. 3 points, just like he taught her. Wrists aligned, shoulders square. Not to impress, to anchor. The man yelling, the one with the HOA badge and the heavy mouth. He sounded too much like Captain Braver, the same voice Nathan had warned her about, the kind that spoke first in the room and last in the field. 3 weeks later, his unit got left behind on the wrong side of a checkpoint. 3 names made it back. His wasn't one of them. Madeline didn't hate loud men. She just stopped trusting them. She blinked once, then again. Not from fear, from control. Behind her, a clipboard rustled. A junior officer was watching. Didn't write anything down. Just watched. That was enough. Madeline lowered her eyes to the line again and waited for the wind to settle. The clipboard came first. Not the voice, not even a hello. Just a shadow crossing the concrete. Then the click of a capped pen, sharp, deliberate, like a blade drawn too close. He wore the HOA polo, crisp, tucked, logo centered, not a wrinkle, not a question. He didn't look at Madeline, just at the list. Started reading. Section 4, Subpart 3, Item D. Personal use firearms not pre-registered with HOA security are considered non-compliant. Grounds for disqualification. His voice didn't carry weight. It didn't need to. Each word landed like it had been said too many times, and always obeyed. He tapped once, then circled the line. Slow, 1 stroke, 2. Then peeled a red sticker from his clipboard and pressed it to her weapons case, right next to the nameplate. "Let's keep things safe, ma'am," he said, and finally looked at her. But it wasn't a conversation. It was a warning dressed as courtesy. Madeline didn't blink. Her eyes scanned the code on the corner. HOA SEC 4.3D. Old. She'd seen that code retracted in the last update. Obsolete since May. She said nothing, her left hand curled just slightly. Not enough to draw attention, but enough to touch the scratch again. Nathan would have smiled, then asked if she wanted to push it now, or wait for the next mistake. She waited. The man turned, walked past her slow. His shoes echoed against the concrete, too clean, too rehearsed. Another staffer stood 5 feet back, clipboard in hand. He watched the sticker get pressed down, watched the man walk away, then caught Madeline's eye, and looked away. That was enough. Someone saw, someone knew, not an ally, not yet, but not blind either. She could work with that. The red sticker fluttered once in the wind, like it wanted to peel off on its own. Madeline didn't touch it, didn't speak, just stood there, measuring the silence. And one small thing shifted inside her. Not anger, not yet, but position, like a sniper adjusting the scope. Breath slower, aim steadier. The trial had started. They just didn't know which side she was on. Sometimes you watch someone get pushed just far enough, and you wonder, what would I have done? I used to stay quiet too, until I learned silence is only powerful when you choose where it ends. If stories like this speak to something in you, stay, subscribe, and let's keep watching the wrong people get outsmarted the right way. She didn't argue, didn't ask for the Glock back. Instead, she walked over, quiet, signed up again. This time, she checked the box for standard HOA-issued firearm. The guy behind the table blinked, pulled a rifle from the locked bin, offered it like it was nothing. Madeline held it steady, inspected the scope, ran a finger across the barrel, slow, measured. Then she asked, almost politely, almost absently, "This model? Completely approved, right?" The man looked up, paused. Yeah, totally. First one using it this week, actually." She nodded once, noted the time, then walked back to her station and did something no one expected. She picked up the violation notice that had been slapped on her case earlier and stuck it on the edge of her table, clean, centered, facing the same camera. She didn't tear it, didn't crumple it, just moved it. Your rules, my terms. A light breeze caught the paper, lifted one corner, but the tape held. From the edge of the firing zone, someone from the HOA glanced over, saw it, didn't speak. Madeline adjusted the butt of the rifle to shoulder height, breathed once, checked the chamber, then, eyes straight ahead. She tilted her head slightly, toward the far pole. There, mounted halfway up, the camera blinked red. She didn't smile, didn't signal, just held her gaze on it. 3 seconds, that was enough. Her thumb tapped the grip. Just once. The first trap wasn't noise, it was frame rate and jurisdiction. Behind her, from the old case she'd left open, something fluttered out. A folded paper, hand-drawn, looked like a sketch of the competition layout. She picked it up, no rush, slid it back in like it meant nothing. It meant everything. Somewhere behind the safety glass, another clipboard shuffled. A voice muttered, "Guess she really wants this spot, huh?" She didn't reply, didn't need to. Everything she needed was already in place. The weapon, the rules, the camera, and one stray sentence, tossed off like background noise. First one using that rifle this week. She filed that away. Not for now, for later, for when the HOA tried to twist her story and found out they were already living in hers. Craig Donnelly stepped forward. HOA polo, clip mic on his collar, clipboard nowhere in sight. He didn't raise his voice, didn't have to. "There's a difference," he said, "between civic engagement and military theatrics." People laughed, the polite kind, the kind that comes when power enters a room and tells everyone to nod. Madeline stayed behind the line, didn't flinch, didn't blink. She adjusted her stance, lowered her shoulders, and began cleaning the scope. Slow, deliberate, but not for aim. The barrel shifted, by coincidence, or not, toward Craig, not at him, just near enough. Near enough to make him pause, to make people notice. Craig kept going. The HOA is committed to safety, to decorum, to unity. His words echoed like a speech rehearsed in mirrors. Madeline stayed silent, but the wind wasn't. It tugged again at the violation notice on her table. She turned it. Lettering now faced the crowd. HOA-CC 4.3D, policy code in dispute. A small move, but now everyone could read it. The same code Craig had used to disqualify her weapon. The same code retired last year. She said nothing. Let the papers speak. Craig noticed, stepped closer. 1 foot onto the gravel range. That was a line. He pointed, not at her, at the camera. "You think this will play cute on video?" She looked at him. First time. "I'm not touching you," she said, "but the camera will." Silence. Heavy. like someone just snapped a bone and no one moved yet. Then it cracked. A woman, HOA admin, navy jacket, lifted her clipboard halfway. "Sorry, Craig, but if the weapon came from the HOA stockroom and you just confirmed it on mic, then she's not in violation, is she?" Craig froze, half smile cracked, head turned, slow. Madeline watched him exhale, too late. Behind them, the camera clicked red. The words, the contradiction, the posture, it was all framed, all captured, and for the first time, Craig looked small. His authority wasn't challenged, it was outlined, drawn in light and lens. The crowd shifted, not loud, but energy changed. They saw it, the micro slip, the turn, and Madeline still didn't smile. She just lowered the scope again and waited. Craig stepped forward. This time, no speech, no clipboard, just volume. "We've reviewed the regulations," he said, flat, loud, final. "And due to non-compliance with safety protocols and the unauthorized use of personal equipment, Ms. Ross is hereby disqualified from this event." A pause, no reaction. He thought silence meant checkmate, but Madeline had already turned, not toward him, toward the folding table at her left. A man stood there, HOA staff, holding a sheet. White paper, blue stamp. He didn't speak, just walked it over. Craig's signature, issued 3 days ago. Authorization of weapons issued for this week's trial, including the one in Madeline's hands. The crowd shifted. Someone coughed. Someone else exhaled, like they'd been holding it since morning. Craig blinked. Madeline still hadn't looked at him. She reached into her bag, pulled out a folded sheet, laid it flat, face up. An email printout, dated the week before. Subject, RE Approved Weapons Updated List. Sent by Craig Donnelly. To all participants. The weapon model was highlighted, green, with a timestamp. She didn't speak, didn't explain, just tapped once, her finger resting over his name. He opened his mouth, closed it. From the corner of the field, a red light on the tripod camera clicked off. Recording ended. Madeline turned her head slightly. Spoke. "I think the clip's long enough." Short, steady, unbothered. Craig moved, 1 foot back, a stutter step, like he just remembered where he was. A murmur rose from the far end of the spectators. Then, a voice, older, gravelly, quiet, but hard. "I was a Marine." Everyone turned. An older man stepped out of his chair, gray cap, steady hands. You see someone hold a weapon like that, you don't question their safety, you question your judgment. And just like that, Craig wasn't in charge anymore, not legally, not socially. Madeline stood still, no smile, just stillness. A few HOA members looked at each other, no one stepped in. One of them walked to the camera tripod, reached down, checked the footage. Craig saw it, knew it. He turned back to Madeline, tried to speak. She spoke instead. "This started with your voice, Craig. It'll end with your signature." And she turned away. No victory speech, no gloat. Just the facts, still sitting on the table. Craig didn't move, didn't follow. He couldn't. He wasn't the authority anymore. He was the evidence. Nobody said anything. Craig stepped off the range, not fast, not slow, just smaller than before. No announcement, no verdict. The crowd dispersed without needing one. Madeline didn't watch him leave. She reached for the folded paper, the same warning Craig had taped to her case 3 days ago. Carefully, she peeled it off the bench, folded it in half, tucked it into her pocket. No bitterness, just closure. Then she turned back to the firing line, picked up the HOA-issued Glock, took her stance, took her time, and fired. 3 rounds. No one called the scores, but no one needed to. The old Marine in the back row gave a single nod. Small, final. She lowered the weapon, stepped back, and gathered her things. Not quickly, not slowly, like someone putting away the last page of a story they'd read too many times. As she walked out, her boots brushed dust across the concrete. She passed the sign again. HOA Marksmanship Trial, Safety first. Madeline paused, lifted one finger, wiped the dust off the word safety, just once, then moved on. A boy in the last row whispered to his mother, "Mom, who is she?" The woman watched Madeline walk, waited, then said, quiet, "Someone men like Craig should have learned to respect." Madeline didn't hear it, but maybe she didn't need to. She crossed the lot, sunlight low, wind picking up, and when she reached the edge of the range, she looked back just once, at the bench, at the camera tripod, at the empty chair Craig had claimed for himself. Nothing left to prove, no one left to fight, just one last silence, and a story that didn't need telling out loud. Not everyone wants to win, some just want no one touching what they've guarded too long. Some endings don't echo, they stay quiet, like a folded paper in a coat pocket, like dust swept from one word on an old sign. People thought she stayed calm because she was strong. That wasn't it. She just knew which battles would cost her too much. A voice remembered, a pair of earmuffs no longer sold, a folded warning no longer needed. In the end, it wasn't about proving anything. It was about restoring what never should have been touched. Justice doesn't always raise its voice. Sometimes it just raises its standards. Those who know what it means to lose something real don't waste time shouting. They wait, they watch, they place each move like it matters. Because it does. Not everyone gets it, but those who do, share it without needing to explain why. Maybe it's true. The strongest retaliation is not the loudest. It's the one that puts everything quietly back in place.